I think there's significant opportunity for collaboration from a drive company perspective, and I think today's technology presentations and tomorrow's presentations, from what I see of the agenda, will illustrate areas where we should be consolidating our spend on fundamental process research and fundamental process tool development as an industry, because we all need to do some form of discrete track recording, and we all need to do some form of assisted recording. And as an industry, we can do a significantly better job than we can as a bunch of independents going off down our own road. So I think there's a big opportunity there. And as we get closer to the semiconductor trends, right? We've lived for years and years and years very successfully being a generation or two behind. So we could let the semiconductor guys cooperate, and they do it very well, on fundamental process development, which they then all leverage, and then go their merry way in terms of competitive offerings to the marketplace. As we catch up and require that technology at the same time they do, we either join them, preferably, or worst case, we need to get together to have at least some semblance of attractiveness to the equipment makers as a customer. So I think that's an area where collaboration is going to be required over the next few years. In terms of collaboration with our customers in addressing solutions for this market, yeah, I think what we have to focus on as an industry is making sure that we keep a drive slot in the chassis. Right? Because as long as there's a drive slot in the chassis, our solution will be preferred. I mean, last year, ASUS came out with the EPC. Probably there had been multiple attempts on a small device up till then. It was really the first one to catch the imagination. And it came out with flash on motherboard with a controller, so it was an integrated SSD. Not a good idea from our perspective. A lot of work done behind the scenes, and interesting that almost everybody else who's brought out a system this year in that category has a 2.5-inch drive slot. And 80% of those systems will likely ship with a 2.5-inch drive in that slot, and the other 20% will ship with an SSD in that slot. That's how it looks to be shaping up. Because the value proposition of drives is so superior and offers even in that marketplace, okay, my get you in the store price is $3.99. By the time you leave the store, you've spent $4.99 at least, because instead of a 64 gig SSD, or well, actually, instead of a 16 gig SSD, you can have a 160 gig hard drive for $30 more. And who wouldn't take that value? Apparently, most of the customers see that value, because that's what we're seeing the system configurations being. From 6 months ago, when we were talking to the folks making the plans, it was maybe 30% hard drive, 70% SSD. As they're shipping the units out of the stores today, or into the stores today, it's flipped the other way around. As the marketeers got at the pricing levels and the values and all of that. So our job is to keep a slot in the system. As long as there's a slot in the system, the compelling value will take care of the rest.